All right, good morning. I hereby call this meeting to order and ask everyone to please take their seats. We are joined today by Bobby Stem, the AOGC, and Mike Patterson. I don't see Mike. Where's Mike? There he is. Thank you. Welcome, gentlemen. Commission Secretary will please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn here.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley here.
Mr. Shannon.
Here.
Mr. Freimiller.
Freimiller here.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson here.
Mr. Alexander.
Alexander here.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge here.
Mr. Peterson.
Here.
Mr. Junk.
Junk here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Secretary Gatz, you are recognized to present, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good morning. Don't have much this morning other than want to welcome Commissioner Junk to be with us at the first commission meeting. We're extremely excited to have you on the Transportation Commission. Look forward to working with you, and please, you got a little bit of an overview of the subcommittee process this morning. Any questions about anything on the agenda, either now or later, please do not hesitate to reach out to me or any of the staff to help you understand anything that you might need to understand. So, again, welcome. We are very excited to have you on the commission. Commissioner Peterson, we had talked this morning about doing a Keep America Beautiful award. We actually have a couple of those coming, so I think we're going to defer that until maybe the May commission meeting. So, okay, thank you. Commissioner Junk, welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Item 33 is approval of the minutes of the Transportation Committee meeting on February 6th, 2023. Do I have a motion for approval of item 33?
So moved, Grimsley.
And do I have a second?
Second, Dyson.
And any discussion? Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. Mr. Freimiller.
Abstain.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
Abstain.
Mr. Junk.
Abstain.
Do we have enough votes to? Yes. Okay. All right, very good. All right, the motion passes. The consent docket contains items 34 through 36. If any commissioner would like to pull an individual item out for discussion, he may do so at this time. Otherwise, I'll hear a motion for approval of the consent docket.
So moved, Coburn.
And do I have a second?
Second, Grimsley.
And Secretary will please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn.
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley.
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Freimiller.
Freimiller, yes.
Mr. Peterson.
And I can't remember if I abstained or if my vote wasn't heard in the last meeting or not. So what, for the consent docket, I remember I was having technical problems.
We were not able to hear you for the consent docket.
Yeah, so I'll abstain.
But you can vote for this one.
Yeah,
because
it's-
This is this month's. For the minutes was the only thing you needed to abstain.
Excuse me, sorry, rookie mistake. I approve. Yes.
Mr. Dyson.
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge.
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Junk.
Junk, yes.
The item passes. Item 37 is engineering contracts. Mr. Tigler, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Mr. Secretary. Item 37 are the engineering contracts this month. I have 9 parts. I have 5 statewide projects or contracts and 4 project-specific. Part A is our statewide, all districts, our on-demand state bridge rehabilitation contract. We have selected 6 firms to provide this service, and they are Aguirre Fields, EST, Garver, MacArthur Associated Consultants, MKEC Engineering, and Poe and Associates. The aggregate not to exceed amount for these 6 contracts is $1,500,000. Part B, statewide, all districts, on-demand traffic engineering service. The department has selected 6 firms to provide these services, and the firms are Burgess and Neipel, Freeze and Nichols, Kimley Horn and Associates, Lee Engineering, Olson, and Traffic Engineering Consultants. Aggregate not to exceed amount for these 6 contracts is $1,500,000. Part C, statewide, all districts on-system bridge inspections. The department has selected 4 firms to provide these services, and the firms are Burgess and Nyepel, CEC Corporation, Consor Engineers, and Garver. The aggregate not to exceed amount for these 4 contracts is $1,200,000. Part D, statewide, all districts, on-demand engineering services for ADA improvements. Department has selected 6 firms to provide these services, and they are Consor Engineers, Cowan Group Engineering, Kimley Horn and Associates, Park Hill Smith and Cooper, R.L. Shears Company, and Smith Roberts Baldishweiler. Aggregate not to exceed for these 6 contracts is $1,500,000. Part E, statewide, all districts, on-demand ITS and fiber optic inspection. Department has selected 4 firms to provide these services, and the firms are CEC Corporation, EST, Friesen Nichols, and Olson. The aggregate not to exceed amount for these 4 contracts is $4 million. Part F, Cherokee County and District 1. Department has selected Hudson Prince Engineering and Inspection to prepare construction plans for the junction of US 62 and State Highway 51. The proposed project improvements are adding sidewalk, intersection modification, and safety improvements. Total not to exceed amount for this contract is $890,896. This project is in the 8-year work plan scheduled in 2028. Part G in Cleveland County, District 3. The department has selected Olson to provide preliminary engineering for State Highway 9. This is an approximately 5-mile-long project. Proposed project improvements are adding capacity to roadway, intersection modification, and access and safety improvements. Total not to exceed amount for this contract is $2 million. The projects are included in the 8-year construction work plan, scheduled let date of 2029. Part H, Oklahoma County and District 4. Department has selected Team Design to provide preliminary engineering for State Highway 74. Proposed project improvements are reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility, safety and geometric improvements, and intersection modification. Total not to exceed amount for this contract is $2,188,760. Project is in the 8-year construction work plan, let date of 2027. And finally, Part I in Tulsa County, District 8. Department has selected Garver to provide preliminary engineering for US 75. Proposed project improvements are adding capacity to the roadway, improve access, and replace bridge on an offset alignment, and reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility. Total not to exceed amount for this contract is $2,012,612. Projects are in the 8-year construction work plan, scheduled let date of 2028. Approval is recommended, and try to answer any questions if you gentlemen have anything this morning.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 37?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Shannon and seconded by Frymiller. Thank you. Any discussion? Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn?
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley?
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller?
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes?
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Junk?
Junk, yes.
Motion passes. Item 38 is engineering contract supplements. Mr. Tigler, you're recognized to continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Part A is statewide, all districts, on-demand cultural resources inventories, NRHP evaluations and mitigation proposals. The department previously selected 6 consulting firms to provide these services, and they are Amaterra Environmental, Blanton and Associates, Stantec Consulting Services, previously Cox McLean Environmental Consulting, Integrated Environmental Solutions, Mead and Hunt, and Wood Environment and Infrastructure Solutions. The total aggregate increase for these contracts is $600,000. Part B, statewide, all districts, is our on-demand environmental services for our local government projects. Department previously selected 8 firms to provide these services, and they are Hudson Prince Engineering and Inspection, previously Able Consulting, C.H. Guernsey and Company, CC Environmental, Stantec Consulting Services, previously Cox McLean Environmental Consulting, CP&Y, Garver, Kleinfelder, and Olson. Total aggregate increase for these supplements for these contracts, that's $800,000. And finally, Part C, Kingfisher and Logan counties in District 4. Previously authorized Benham Design to prepare construction plans for State Highway 51. Proposed project improvements are adding shoulders to a 2-lane road and reconstruct and rehabilitate the existing facility. Supplement not to exceed amount is $60,943. These projects are in the 8-year construction work plan, scheduled let date of 2024 and 2023. Approval is recommended. Try to answer any questions if you have any this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Tickler. You've heard the presentation, Commissioners. Do I have a motion for approval of item 38?
Motion Dyson.
Dyson, do I have a second?
Second, Coburn.
Mr. Coburn, Commissioner Coburn, thank you. Any discussion? All right, Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Miller, yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes?
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Junk.
Yes.
The motion passes. Thank you. Item 39 is change orders with a cumulative total of $75,000 or less. Mr. Leonard, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. I'd like to present item number 39, parts A through L. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders of $75,000 or less. This item is presented for your information only. No action is necessary, but I'd be glad to answer any questions.
If there are no questions, Mr. Leonard, you're recognized to present item 40, change orders with cumulative total greater than $75,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, item 40, parts A through O. These are change orders on projects which have a cumulative total of change orders greater than $75,000. Your approval is recommended, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
And you've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 40?
LaForge, move for approval.
And do I have a second?
Coburn, second.
Coburn, second. Any discussion?
Actually, I have one thing. I want to thank you again for adding the cumulative totals. I think it'd be interesting in another year or two, see if any of that starts to glean some sort of trends or anything that might be useful. But yeah, thank you again for doing that. So.
Very good. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Miller, yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes?
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Junk.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes. Item 41 is proposed bid openings. Mr. Hackney, you're recognized to present.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item 41, proposed bid openings, consists of the final April 2023, the tentative May 2023, and the tentative June 2023 bid openings. The department recommends approval.
Thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 41?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Frymiller and Shannon, please, first and second. Any discussion? And Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn,
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley,
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon,
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller,
Miller, yes.
Mr. Peterson,
Yes?
Mr. Dyson,
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge,
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Junk.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Item 42 is termination of construction contract. Mr. Davis, you are recognized to present.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Item, agenda number 42 is the termination of a construction contract 220231. This is project SSR 261C 113 and the whole SR. This is a resurfacing project on State Highway 31 in Pittsburgh County. The contract was awarded by the Oklahoma Transportation Commission on August 1st, 2022 to Roscon LLC for a contract amount of $442,315 to resurface a section of State Highway 31 in Pittsburgh County. Subsequently, this contract award became the subject of a bid protest pursuant to Title 61 of State Statutes Section 122 in the District Court of Pittsburgh County, case number CJ 2022-172, thereby preventing the start of work. This case was dismissed by the plaintiff on January 30th of 2023. Thereafter, Roscon LLC indicated they did not have the resources available to perform the contract work. The department has notified Roscon that the contract will be terminated in accordance with Section 108.11 of the ODOT standard specifications at no cost to the department. No work has occurred on the project to date. Now be it resolved by the Oklahoma Transportation Commission that whereas it is in the best interest of the Oklahoma Department of Transportation that the commission provide consent to the termination of contracts for highway construction awarded to Roscon pursuant to state law at Title 61 Statutes Section 137. Commission approval of this item is recommended. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I just have one question. This kind of reaffirms my concerns about, supply chain issues and stuff with the construction contractors. Obviously, we expended no money here, but does that destabilize our base of contractors at all? I mean, has this been a contractor that's performed a lot?
This contractor has performed a lot. He has some extenuating circumstances. He has not been bidding work for quite a while now.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he had no intention of building this project for us.
Perfect, thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank you. You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 42?
So moved, Coburn.
And a second?
Second, Dyson.
Dyson, any discussion, further discussion? All right, Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn?
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley?
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller?
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes?
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Junk?
Junk, yes.
Motion passes, thank you. Item 43 is emergency bridge repairs. Mr. Davis, you're recognized to continue.
Thank you. Agenda item number 43, this is an emergency declaration for NBI 18127, structure number 7209. This is US 412 eastbound and I-244 eastbound to northbound Tisdale Expressway in Tulsa County. ODOT Bridge Division was notified of an overheight vehicle impact on February 13, 2023. A hands-on inspection was performed the same day. Significant damage was observed at the point of impact on span 5 beam number 4, which was forced approximately 18 inches out of horizontal alignment. District 8 forces initiated traffic control measures that moved traffic to the west side of the structure away from the damaged beam. US 412 eastbound access to northbound Tisdale Expressway was closed. As the ramp carries an estimated 7,000 vehicles per day, it is imperative that access be restored as soon as possible. District forces do not have the capability to perform this work. It is recommended that an emergency project be initiated immediately to repair the damaged bridge member and restore traffic to its normal configuration. In accordance with Title 61 of the Oklahoma State Statutes, Section 130, and the Oklahoma Administrative Code, Section 131-5-14, Secretary Gatz has authorized an emergency repair project for this structure at an estimated cost of $600,000 with an anticipated timeline of 14 days to complete, and I am happy to report that that work was completed as of last Tuesday.
And we know the party that did the damage?
We do. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And Sarah will ruthlessly pursue recovering our money.
I have no doubt.
All right.
Yes.
Counting on her.
Yeah.
Very good.
Happy to answer any questions.
You've
on
heard
that.
you've heard the presentation. Any discussion, gentlemen? All right. Thank you, Mr. Davis. Item 44 is election of officers. Ms. Penn, you are recognized to present.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pursuant to the Department of Transportation's Administrative Rule, Title 731-3-1, the Commission shall conduct an election of officers for the Commission at the first regular meeting after the 15th of March each odd-numbered year. At the April 2023 meeting, Commissioners will either self-nominate or nominate another Commissioner for any of the 3 positions: Chairman, Vice Chair, or Secretary. The process for accepting nominations will be conducted by the acting chair at the April meeting. I am bringing this to your attention now so you can consider your own interest to serve as an officer or determine the interest of your fellow commissioners over the course of the next month. This is for your information only, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. You've heard the presentation. Any discussion? All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Penn. Item 45 is awards. Mr. Dels, you're recognized to present.
Good morning, Commissioners. Item 45 are our recommendations from the February bid openings. It is recommended that the following items from the February 9th bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. As call orders 400, 405, 410, 415, 420, 435, 450, 465, 470, 480, 485, 490, 495, and 500. It is recommended that the following items from the February 9th bid opening referred to by call order be rejected, as call orders 440 and 445. It is recommended that the following items from the February 16th bid opening referred to by call order be awarded. It's call orders 600, 605, 610, 615, 620, 625, 630, 635, 640, 645, 650, 655, 660, 665, 670, and 685 with all add alternates. It is recommended that the following item from the February 16th bid opening referred to by call order be rejected, and that's call order 675. This concludes the recommendations for awards, and your approval is requested.
You've heard the presentation. Do I have a motion for approval of item 45?
LaForge move for approval.
Thank you. And a second from Mr. Shannon, Commissioner Shannon. All right, any discussion? Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn?
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley?
Grimsley, yes.
Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Frymiller?
Frymiller, yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge, yes.
Mr. John?
Yes. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 46 is the Director's Report. Secretary Gatz, you are recognized to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Appreciate the consideration of the emergency bridge project item. Again, it seems over the last 6 months, we've had a extraordinary rash of overheight loads that are hitting our bridges, whether that's on the tax-supported highways or the turnpike network. And, you know, the legal load height is 14 feet. And all of our bridges are in excess of 14 feet clear. And again, it's just something that we ask for the partnership for anybody that's hauling any kind of a load that potentially exceeds that height to get out that tape measure, because it can be the difference between us having to do an emergency contract and repair a bridge like this. And also, you know, that old secure your load, you know, that we talk about a lot and we'll be talking about again this spring. You know, make sure that if you're hauling a piece of equipment that has the ability to maybe release a hydraulic and ride up during transport, make sure everything is boomed down and secure. You know, we need the trucking companies' help to help us keep our bridges safe and travel in public safe, and want to focus extra attention on that. Our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to everybody who was affected by the severe weather we experienced a week ago or so Sunday. And certainly that was widespread across the state. We had a EF2 tornado in Roger Mills County, Cheyenne, that impacted one of our maintenance facilities. And again, I've become aware that it is now has been declared a total loss. So we're going to have to go back and institute a repair of that facility. We also lost some equipment and had widespread damage as far as windshields and windows knocked out. Fortunately, Brent has a contingency plan in place, and operations in D5 will continue, and we'll get about the business of reconstructing that facility there at Cheyenne. Want to make sure the Commission is aware of Project HALO, and that is a partnership for a hydrogen hub with 3 states, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas. And we are working on a plan right now to introduce hydrogen corridors as an alternative fuel corridor as part of our plan. We'll do that. We're beginning to hear that they will open the opportunity for us to present those alternative fuel corridors within the next 30 or 60 days. We're working on getting ready. And again, that is a factor in the larger HALO proposal for Oklahoma to be a hydrogen hub that has been submitted, and we've actually made it through the first cut. And so a really strong partnership between the 3 states, and I'm optimistic that we'll make a good showing in that competition for the grant. And if we were awarded, the grant will be in excess of $1 billion to help us develop hydrogen. Oklahoma's strong suit is an all-of-the-above approach to energy, and that includes hydrogen, that includes wind, solar, and oil and gas. It's going to take all of those different sources and resources to keep the country moving ahead for the future. Appreciate your consideration this morning of our contract awards. It definitely is asphalt season. Call attention to the fact that most of the, or a good portion of the projects, 14 projects for more than 60 miles and $40 million were related to asphalt resurfacing type projects. And again, we've got some significant ones that are embedded in that on facilities that carry high volumes of traffic, one being Interstate 40 out here at Morgan Road, just east of Morgan Road in the asphalt section, extending east to MacArthur Boulevard. And also a couple on Highway 69. And again, the nature of the traffic on those two in particular will be difficult to navigate. So just travel in public, be mindful of the orange barrels that are going to begin to show up at a much higher frequency as we get into the spring months, and help us out with putting away distractions and being attentive in those work zones. And, you know, with work zone traffic and a request for the travel and public's patience while we do that work, and also attention while traveling through it, I always want to remind everybody to buckle up. Seatbelt usage, again, in Oklahoma is something that we are uniquely focused on because we're low. We're about 85% usage. We need to get those numbers up. And, you know, the risk of being a fatality or a severe injury increases by 45%, and if you're not wearing your seatbelt. So really ask everybody to buckle up. We've got a tremendous focus on safety, and the first line of having safe transportation is for the folks that are driving the cars to buckle their seatbelt. Commissioner Grimsley had asked at one point here in the not too distant past for us to talk a little bit about ITS and weather stations and some of the things that are in that arena. We've got a very good Drive Oklahoma app that's cell phone based, and Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd like to invite Alan Stevenson with our ITS group to the podium to talk a little bit about that initiative and all the capabilities that the department has.
Please,
So.
we'd like to hear it.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, thank you for having me to allow me to cover what's happening in the ITS, Intelligent Transportation System. I'm going to throw some acronyms every once in a while, and I will try not to. I hear there's a penalty for that. So what's happening in an Intelligent Transportation System, known as what's called ITS, and the Transportation Systems Management and Operations, known as TSMO. And also covering traffic divisions with respect to all of our transportation technologies that are being developed and being used at ODOT. I'll be covering some of the slides fast for time's sake, but please stop me anytime to cover any of them if you have questions. So we have an ADIS, which is our Advanced Traveler Information, or public website. The public website, we get about 1.3 million hits during winter months on this website. We average about 100,000 hits every other month. It shows speed data for the entire state as well as arterials. Construction, ODOT construction zones. We have about 533 cameras, 103 dynamic message signs, 67 road weather sensors. Also, we have 162 Houston radar sites that is used to monitor the speed, as well as we're adding 30 more 30 more sites each year, starting in 2023. That's a undertaking by Traffic Division. We work well with them. The speed data, as you probably already know, I mean, green means it's free flowing above 50. Yellow means it's in between 25 and 50. Red means it's stop and go conditions under 25. We developed a construction app, a mobile construction app for the field construction engineers to map their work zones. It also allows them to take pictures and videos and record the work zone itself. There's 138 current construction work zones that are shown in on the website, and there's 83 more that are being mapped. The 83 is typically due because there's delays and projects, once they're awarded, there's mobilization and startup and all that, so that we're about at an 85% compliance rate, but it's working well. Traffic Division is also using this work zone for audits, and it gives the other divisions the ability to check without actually having to send somebody out there in the field. So it's actually doing some good savings on that aspect as well. If you click on any of the barricades, then it blows up and it actually shows you each movement that is affected at that particular work zone. As the construction zones are modified, the field can make changes in the field and to that work zone and each approach, as well as if a user clicks on that particular work zone, they actually can get what the description is, when the start time was, the approximate time of when they're going to be completed. The next steps we're going to be doing is actually using our probe data, our speed data, to calculate delays, so that if you're coming up I-35 from Dallas and you see 3 work zones, you'll be able to click on that and expect what kind of delay you're getting. And that's dynamic. It'll automatically change based on queuing. As their queue starts building, the delay will build. We'll be able to do that dynamically. Every 2 minutes, we'll be updating that automatically.
So question, pardon me if I can interrupt. How does a driver use that?
This app?
Yes.
There's 2 ways. There's 2 ways, basically. Is this mobile app that we have, the Drive Oklahoma, allows you to actually see where you are, and actually, based on your speed, it shows you, like, if you're going 70 miles an hour, it shows you the next 10 miles of roadway. So you would see what the road conditions are in green, or maybe it goes yellow or red.
I see it on my phone.
Yes, you may see it on your phone, but we hope you have a passenger that's actually helping you operate that.
Okay, you didn't fall for the bait.
No, I always have a navigator with me.
Yeah.
Before you go.
Right, yeah. I was going to say that sounds pretty cool, but you sure don't want people looking at their cell phones.
No, I'm not encouraging that. Also, we put our data available to Waze, so then Waze also puts it out for
Okay.
Google. So it's being seen by Google, Waze, and then other Federal Motor Carrier website. We're one of 7 who are actually putting it to the Federal Motor Carriers website. It's called, it's on my next slide, WZDX, where they're actually giving that information back to the commercial vehicles.
Okay.
We actually won an award on this one in 2021 at the ITS Heartland Conference as being one of the leading states doing it. The Smart Work Zone data is also used to calculate delays in the work zones, and it's posted back to message boards ahead so that they know what's coming up at the site themselves. The other thing I was going to show is I did talk to you about, I need a better driver for my things, don't I? Is the Waze data. I mentioned that we do share with Waze data. So we pull information about accidents, any traffic jams, any closures, and then we repost them out on our website, and then we share back all closures we'd have in regard to like flooding or construction, any work zones. We also share that back to Waze and Google and FHWA.
So is that similar direction you shared with Waze, but you pull some of that back for monitoring, is that right? Do you use Waze to monitor?
Yes, we actually pull from Waze to get their traffic jams and their alerts. So then we post those on our website, and then we push back as a courtesy back to them as well. We have road weather information systems. We have 17 on I-35. They're about every 15 to 20 miles, border to border. We've got a project right now that's putting them on I-40, border to border. Same about distance. Those allow us to have 5 different temperature sensors. We have one on the bridge deck, because we put them next to bridges. We have one on the bridge deck, one on the approach slab, one in the pavement, one in subsurface, and then ambient. That allows us to really monitor the freezing conditions and know a little bit better when the freeze is going to happen on the bridge. And that information is relayed back to our superintendents so that they can do pre-treatments and things like that and make better decisions on treating. We've also integrated into that our NOAA's radar data, so that if you're looking at your if your navigator in the car is looking at the app,
Good
then they can actually see weather coming at the same time. This has just kind of been very helpful in some of these severe storms, is that to kind of see which way it's going so you know what to avoid.
I have a question on the weather sensors.
Yes, sir.
Do you require that these be like NIST trace? Is it like the Mesonet where it's like a research grade on accuracy, or do you have a higher tolerance for accuracy on it?
Well, since we actually get 5 different temperature sensors, we get pretty good high quality. Mesonet's now approached us and asking us for all of our data as well. So
Which
we're
means it's probably NIST traceable then. So.
yes, and we had a meeting with the National Weather Service, and we're going to be sharing data back and forth on that as well.
The reason I'm asking is with a lot of the advanced transportation, especially the low altitude aviation stuff we're looking at, we believe there's a lot of value in the crowdsourcing, where we can live with a 10% problem or 5%, whatever, and not have that NIST traceable, but just having more sensors out there. Is there a thought of like the crowdsourcing even on that part of it?
Well, and that's really where we want to do the sharing with the National Weather Service and with Mesonet and with FirstNet. We already have been trained with the FirstNet app there at OU, so we utilize that information. And that's where we're trying to gather all this information. And you may or may not know the term crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is where it's not just my data, it's someone else's data, and you take all this different data and you pull it so that you have a better distribution of accurate information. And then you formulate your decisions based on that overall. So, yes, sir, we are working toward that.
Thank you.
Our road conditions, we've done, kind of watching my time. Road conditions actually show all the different road conditions in the state during the weather events. We show moderate, severe, or closed conditions. This data is entered in by ODOT personnel in the field at the site. And then ODOT's, turnpikes, and DPS personnel. In the past, it was very hard to get good information because the person that was trying to make decisions were in Oklahoma City, but it's out in Buffalo. Having the information right there at the source has really improved our mapping system, as well as we get snowplow images from our snowplow system, and those are posted out there for the public to see as well. We show 2 hours worth of that data on the snowplows. Speaking of snowplows, so this is our snowplow system. The snowplow system, we have an app that we actually built on it as well, so that we could actually know when the truck went by there, at what time, whether the plow was up or down, what the spreading rate was. They're taking pictures every 10 minutes. So that we would be able to sit there and if somebody called in and had questions, the superintendent can pull them up and actually look at his crew or when they actually went by that particular location. Helps us have a better view of the overall of what's going on in their county or their division. We have 330 snowplow trucks right now outfitted and 43 that are on the turnpike that are outfitted.
Do you retain any of that video for like machine learning in the future? Maybe learn, you know.
The images?
Yeah, images for maybe training later on, because I mean, you could have, in the future, you have some predictive capability. Some of that may be useful for developing that later on. You know, just a pure image video.
We do store all the images for all the different routes that are done. That's on a server at the university because we work highly close. When we talk about these apps, these are not developed by ODOT, but they're actually a partnership between the university and ODOT that have developed all these apps. So our server, we have two different servers. One's up in Tulsa and then one's down here in the National Weather Service at OU. But yes, we keep all those images. We're trying to do some video processing on those imagery, but snow is not the place that we're really kind of looking at that as much as in another area. I can explain it in a minute. We talked about the Drive Oklahoma app. The Drive Oklahoma app, this gives you all the functionality that you have on the OK Traffic and the OK Roads app, but it's on a mobile device. So you get to see all the speeds, the message boards, cameras, ways, work zones, toll roads, weather stations, and and the weather radar data also. The cameras, when you click on a camera location at a particular intersection, you can scroll left and right and actually get 360 degrees viewing of that particular intersection and its approaches. You can pick those by the map or the city or cross street. Traffic has been doing some few pilot projects using variable speed limits where the sensor downstream actually monitors the speed and then sends that information upstream to reduce the speed limits as they're coming into construction zones and we're having queuing. This improves the safety for from a queue being formed. I'm sorry. See? This is where it's actually monitoring the speeds and then posting the message upstream to let them know to reduce their speeds. Also then, one of the other things Traffic Division is doing is called lane merging. They're using the latest technology is called a zipper merge. It increases the efficiency and decreases the queue length. It's been used on quite a few different projects and that's going to be our norm. So it's more effective than the traditional merging that we have people that run up the side and don't, yeah.
Just a quick question, you have the sign with the two lights on the side, so what you're doing is you're enforcing that zipper merge, you're giving somebody a green and kind of indicating you have, is that what you're doing, or is
Well,
it-
the lights are just to let you know that you need to be
Oh, it's
merging
just
at
a
that
flashing
point.
warning light, okay.
But you're trying to utilize both lanes all the way up to that point, and then it's common courtesy. Each person takes a turn and you just shift back and forth. So,
Okay.
some of the new features that are under development right now is, again, we talked about when you're using the mobile app, You get the scale of the map changes based on your speed. We're making it more sensitive on various speeds, the distance, so that you'll be able to sit there and if you're going 30 miles, it only shows you, the next 3 miles of roadway. We're also working on giving voice notifications for slowdowns or as you approach them, like work zones or incidents, where actually you're
Voice notification.
what did I say?
No, I was about to jump on that.
What?
Yeah, that is a complete no-brainer. I mean, that makes, tons of sense, but my gosh, I think of all the amazing things you've just presented to us, and I don't know what % of cars are driven by a single driver, but I'm not sure we're not encouraging more cell phone usage. I think that's something to be kept in mind. That's why wrecks or collisions are going up. So, but the voice makes perfect sense.
So yes, it's voice notifications, so that as they approach a work zone, that they know what's going on, that they're coming up, and it's such a delay. So, we're doing a pilot project with actually another snowplow company that actually ties into our fleet management software to give us a better representation of how the engine's running, the efficiency, fuel efficiency, things like that. So it's just trying to kind of diversify our information coming in. We're going to be deploying more road weather information systems, closed-circuit TV cameras, and DMSs. And soon you're going to be seeing travel times on all DMSs, whether right now there's only about 18 that are showing, and that's typically inbound, but we're going to be starting showing travel times on outbound as well.
Remind me what a DMS is, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, dynamic message sign.
Yeah,
I knew I would, that's two, don't I?
Like your $20 at this.
This is a costly presentation. So one of the things we do is ODOT and Turnpike, we enter into public-private partnerships to leverage the right-of-way for fiber optic assets in preparation for smart highways. We've spaced the ground boxes about half a mile for future connections. We have 3,600 miles, linear miles of fiber in the state, one of the highest than other states. Of that 3,600 miles, we allocate so many strands to Turnpike, so many to ITS, and so many to Regions of Higher Education and OMES. But typically, we always get about 12 strands for ITS for connected vehicle and things like that. Okay. So autonomous trucks. We are working on autonomous trucks. A vehicle working group was formed in 2018. Members consisted of both the public and private sectors. Senate Bill 189 allowed for truck platooning. Senate Bill 1541 allowed for autonomous vehicles to be used. Senate Bill 1688 created the Advanced Mobility Advisory Council. The Advisory Council is made up of 9 members, and what they do is they make recommendations and policy to create in regard to issues adopting for mobility, advanced mobility technologies. And then Senate Bill 365 was the Uniformity Act, and that was really so that a local jurisdiction couldn't turn around and stop autonomous vehicles in their jurisdiction, but it's available throughout the state. It put everybody kind of on the same playing field. So a lot of work has gone into creating the legislation and getting all of us ready for autonomous vehicles.
Excuse me, do you know who's on the Advanced Mobility Advisory Council?
Yes, sir.
I don't have a list in
Okay.
Commissioner, but I actually, by statute, as Secretary of Transportation, am
Okay.
the lead on the group. Ramsley is part of it, along
Ah.
with both. When we're talking about advanced mobility, it's not just surface transportation, it also is inclusive of unmanned aerial systems, et cetera.
Sure.
So we have individuals that work in both in the surface transportation sector and also the advanced
Okay.
unmanned aerial system.
Could maybe someone send the commission, the members of that?
Certainly.
Please, thank you.
It's a pretty balanced group, very
Okay.
balanced, yeah, so.
So with autonomous vehicles, when we start talking about that, the autonomous vehicles are going to be able to speak to vehicle, as well as vehicle to roadside units, what we call RSUs. And then the roadside units will communicate back to the vehicle to let them know what's up ahead. So it's an interactive communication between all the different points. The autonomous platooning trucks, it is currently happening in Oklahoma. Currently, there is a passenger that sits in the driver's seat to monitor the operations. He doesn't physically do anything, and DPS actually oversees the autonomous platooning program, and they're here in our building, so we visit with them often. Can't tell how much I went over. Smart vehicles. Smart vehicles are geared with artificial intelligence to help them monitor and control the autonomous vehicle in the future. There's companies already like Mojo that monitor the vehicle systems. They have multiple manufacturers already in their system, and that information's fed back to DOTs as well as trucking companies to show what kind of road conditions and what's going on. Are the windshield wipers on? Is there, congestion, things like that, to help relay information to the public as well as to the DOTs and to the commercial trucks. We're in the process of installing smart signals to monitor traffic flow, automatically adjust it, and connect the vehicles. Connected vehicles work together to make a safer transportation system. Traffic Division is implementing smart signals that are capable of identifying traffic signal timing modifications that need to be improved or changed for efficiency. That modification is sent to the engineer, and then if approved, it automatically updates the signal controller and improves the signal timing at the intersection. There are 4 intersections in Hochatown currently being worked on, and then there's 10 across the state at others coming soon. These signals will be capable of continuously monitoring and then modifying the signal timing automatically to improve working conditions. And these are all going to be monitored by our traffic division. Gentlemen, I am complete.
Well, that's quite a statement. I have to think about that. My wife tells me I'm not close to that. Well,
and thank you.
fascinating. So 10 years from now, as all these incredible systems are rolled out, we should see what? Fewer collisions, smoother traffic. What do you speak? How would you answer that from a very high level?
From a high level, I think yes. I think with the smart vehicles and the road sensor units being installed and everything communicating together, we're going to see less severity on injuries in like queuing accidents and work zones. People will be more alert because it'll be talking to them, telling them they're coming into a work zone. The systems will all work together. Right now, they all operate in silos, right? But now with this, it bridges that communication between all the different systems, and it will make a safer system.
Okay.
Yep.
Time will tell.
Yeah, we're looking at I think in the next decade to 2 decades, some pretty big disruptions in transportation safety. We're kind of this precarious period when we're trying to move there.
Yeah.
One of the big challenges we're going to have, this commission or just any level of government is that it's going to tend to follow corridors early on that are already instrumented. So obviously interstates, some of our major highways. And so that's not necessarily where all of our safety issues are. So, it's going to be a little bit lagging in the rural areas. Ho Chi Town's the exception with the adaptive traffic signals. But the challenge is going to be how do we start to adopt that more broadly? And it's very connected to low-altitude operations, advanced air mobility, things like that. That's why the state has this mobility council that's both domains, because we've always treated them in silos. We've never sat down and said, what's the common infrastructure we need? What's a common policy? So that's what's going on right now. So.
Yeah, I can't speak for Commissioner Freimiller, but I think we'd be in sync on this, but my position on autonomous trucks is it's a long way away, And having been a truck driver, both Commissioner Freimiller and I are truck drivers, we know what's involved. And it's one thing to get on an interstate with the sun shining and dry road and go 200 miles, then assuming nothing happens to the truck, it's another to go pick up your load through all the crazy circumstances we go through and deliver. So I can't wait to see the technology develop. I just think that in some applications, it's a long time coming.
I think we're only one global disruption away. If we had drone delivery in the pandemic, it would be commonplace right now. The regulatory system wasn't ready, but if the regulatory system is ready, we're only one disruption, and we'll see a whole lot of adoption. We did during the pandemic. I mean,
Yeah.
we adopted a lot of things very quickly.
Yeah, no, I'm behind the learning curve there, Commissioner Grimsley, but such. Thank you very much, Mr. Stevenson.
And Commissioners, I think the only thing I'd add is Oklahoma is done a great job of really being forward-thinking when it comes to policy. Some of our policy is the best in the country as far as everything from how we're handling electric vehicles and to how we're embracing some of these developing technologies. Autonomous vehicles, like I said, the biggest challenge we're going to have as we go forward is not how fast we get autonomous, but is how do we mix vehicles like that along with vehicles that are smart but not autonomous. And then the majority of the fleet out there still doesn't have any of these technologies. And we're going to have to manage all of that together and sort out everything from traffic management to accidents. And that's going to be difficult for us to do. So, but again, Oklahoma is well positioned. The Advanced Mobility Advisory Council is just part of that, and we, as my understanding, we will send you a list of who's on it, but it's the folks that I think you would expect to see.
Good.
Whether
Good.
that's Grayson Arties with the Aeronautics Commission, Jamie Jacobs, who is one of the unmanned aerial systems really forward thinkers. But we also have people like Tyler Moore, who is a PhD from Tulsa University that's really got to focus on cybersecurity, which is going to be such an important part of whether it's aerial or whether it's surface transportation. Yeah, and Dean Roth on the legal side. Jim Roth with OCU is a really exceptional mind when it comes to, again, law and policy that's going to be really have to be bent and changed a little bit to accommodate some of the things we're going to see. So great group and doing good work. I very much appreciate the work that Alan and his team does. I mean, the effort that they put in to try to make the highways safer by embracing technology, it's been incredible to watch. And we've got some of the best folks on that team in the country. Snowplow cameras, that's something that I've always dreamed about, and it's always being refined because it doesn't work exactly like we want it to sometimes. And you always have to remind the traveling public that what you see out the windshield, you have to assume is better behind it, because it's making a pass and it's forward looking. But I think it is an exceptional tool when it comes to trying to provide information in more real-time method to the public. And then last, I think as we develop these, and Commissioner, to your point, the level of distraction in the driver's seat, we have to be mindful of that. But at the same time, I think we are as we develop these, like voice notification. And the Drive Oklahoma app has the ability already to do route planning. So you can set your waypoints and set your route and then get updates, you know, if anything goes wrong on that route. And we're, as Alan points out, we're in the process to transitioning to more of a voice system. And I think that's helpful. And then our integration with Waze and how we work with them and Google Maps and others will become increasingly important
Yeah,
to us.
that's amazing.
So again, a lot of work going on there. Commissioner Grimsley, we appreciate the question, and commissioners, we appreciate the time to kind of bring you up to speed with where we're at, so.
This thing's doing good work. I'd like to recognize innovation, so let's get them a
Congratulations. Yeah.
And again,
Very good.
Commissioners, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have of me, but thank you for the time spent this morning.
You're welcome. Commissioners, any questions for the Secretary? All right, thank you. Thank you, Secretary Gatz. If commissioners have no other comments, I'd hear a motion for item 47, which is adjournment.
Motion, Dyson.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Shannon, Commissioner Shannon. Secretary, please call the roll.
Mr. Coburn?
Coburn, yes.
Mr. Grimsley?
Grimsley, yes?
Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Freimiller?
Freimiller, yes.
Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Mr. Dyson?
Dyson, yes.
Mr. Alexander?
Alexander, yes.
Mr. LaForge?
LaForge, yes.
Mr. Junk?
Yes. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you.